YouTube, what it do? It's your boy Dez A1. Please say the A1 coming at you from the Big Dub Network, where we strive for the W's and we learn from the L's. Today, people, we have a 5-round mock draft for your Washington Commanders. This is some of the things I think will take us to the next level. I am assuming that we hit certain spots in free agency, so you may think we need to go a specific route a little sooner in the draft, a little later in the draft, but I am assuming that we do some things in free agency so we don't have to hit all the spots that, because at this point, we need a little bit of help everywhere. In this year's draft, I don't know if it'll be the thing that turns everything around, but I feel like we can hit important spots with some key impact players, and I'm here to present that to you guys today. So without further ado, let's get right into it, man. And with the second overall pick, the Washington Commanders select Drizzy Drake May, UNC, quarterback, sophomore, standing 6'4", size 230, prototypical quarterback. That's not the end all be all, because you still have to go out there and perform. This young man goes out there and performs. I see a lot of mock drafts these days mocking Jaden Daniels to us. I really don't think that's going to happen. Who do I prefer out of the two? I prefer Drake May. He looks the part a little bit more than Jaden Daniels. The running ability that Jaden brings to the table is another factor, but that's also another risk, and him being one that doesn't really take care of himself, which is a learned ability. He can learn how to do it. I'm just more comfortable with us taking Drake May. He can make all the throws on the field. The weirdest part about this young man, after watching a lot of his tape, is his most difficult throws is his shorter throws. And that just may be a case of just realizing when to throw the changeup versus the fastball. And he does have some accuracy issues. A lot of that plays on his feet, but he can make all the plays. He can make all the throws. He makes plays off schedule. One of my favorite parts about him is he resets the pocket. Sometimes he gets off his spot a little bit faster than he should, but my favorite part about him is resetting the pocket, making movement, and then looking downfield to see what we can take advantage of. I really like this young man. He's a 21-year-old prospect. I think he could definitely take us to the next level. And he's being comped to Justin Herbert. I mean, it is what it is. I guess they both white and they look alike. I don't know. But I feel like, he has that added level of movement and mobility that he could take, possibly be better than Justin Herbert one day. And just speaking within the NFC East, putting the right tools around this young man, I can see him one day being the best quarterback in the NFC East, just based off what we have there now. Dak's growing up there. Hurts is young, but at some point Hurts is going to have to play without all of those high profile players around him, so we'll be able to see what he'll be able to do at that time. But Drake May to Washington, I see it happening. I hope it happens. If we get Jaden Daniels, I'm not going to be upset about that at all. It's just an added level of scarcity that I will have throughout each game while he's out there making the plays that he makes. But Drizzy Drake May to the Washington Commanders at the second overall pick. Get used to seeing it. It might be the play, it might not, but either way, I think I like it. I think I like it a lot. With the 36th overall pick in this year's NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Chop Robinson, edge from Penn State, junior, standing 6'3", 250. This guy is explosive. When I think about what Dan Quinn, the adjectives Dan Quinn used about what our team as a whole would ultimately be one being explosive. This young man off the edge, I can see him in the burgundy and gold doing it extremely well for the next 10 years. If we get to a point where we can't afford him, then great. But until then, I'm a big fan of Chop Robinson. Another player that I'm interested in this spot as well with is Darius Robertson. He's more of a big edge, like a Montez Sweat or Chase Young, what we've been accustomed to these last few years. And I think the reason that I'm more liking Chop is because he looks a little different from what we've been accustomed to. But Darius Robertson will be good in this spot as well. But I'm a Chop Robinson fan, man. And the photos and the stories you hear about him just coming to the game, getting dressed, no gloves, no undershirt, no nothing, just going out there and playing ball. Man, I can see him playing in the burgundy and gold, especially with us turning this thing around, man, and him being one of the faces of the organization, man. I would love it. I'd love to see it. Like I said, he's explosive. His PFF grades are just crazy. And that's even without him, racking up a lot of sacks. He does apply a lot of pressure. PFF grades are crazy. He's only got 3 sacks this season and 5 sacks the previous season. He had quite a lot of hurries last season, more so than this season, but he's just explosive. If you watch the plays, if you watch the tape, this young man, he just makes, he's bendy. He's one of those flexible guys that'll dip around you around the corner to get around the corner, to get around these big tackles. And him being somebody that you might be able to move around across the line just to see if he can find a mismatch, give somebody a different speed, different pace, give a lineman a different speed, a different pace to have to deal with throughout the game. I'll be a big fan if we went and got Chop Robinson at 36. So once again, second overall pick for us, our second pick in this year's NFL draft, at 36, Chop Robinson, edge from Penn State. With the 40th overall pick in this year's NFL draft, the Washington Commanders select Xavier Legette, wide receiver, South Carolina, senior, 6'2", 227. Hey, man. This young man here, and I'm gonna say this a few times throughout these drafts, but this young man here is explosive. When I heard explosive from Dan Quinn, I immediately thought about Xavier Legette. Yeah, this is his senior year in South Carolina was the year he came on. So he has, you can say he has one good season in college, but the good season that he had was just amazing. And he fits in our wide receiver room. He'll look out of place, but once you see the other puzzle pieces, he'll fit right in. If you get what I'm saying, if you catch my drift, if you picking up what I'm putting down, if he sits in our wide receiver room, it'll mesh so well. You put this young man in the slot, yeah, safeties, linebackers, little bitty slot corners, they're not touching this young man. He's gonna get to the combine. He's gonna do everything crazy. He could quite possibly be the fastest guy at the combine, standing at 6'2", 227. They're expecting like a high 4.2, 4.3 speed. If he goes and does that, I don't think he'll be there at 40 for us. But if he's at 40, this guy brings a dynamic that we've been longing for recently in Washington. He's a big receiver. His contested catch rate is 47%, so that's just, dominant. He makes a lot of hand catches as well. He high points the ball. He goes up and get it. A lot of the stuff that we've seen Terry do in his time here in Washington, but all that stuff will go to Xavier. He's going to be the one getting those jump balls now. And not to say I would feel more comfortable with him getting the jump balls over Terry, but at the same time, he's capable. He's shown that he's capable throughout this whole season. And just some added ability, he returned kicks. And I think Dan Quinn said he wanted the special team return game to be explosive as well. Something that we haven't had in a while here. So just putting Xavier back there to return some kicks every now and then was explosive as well. The young man caught a slant and recorded the fastest speed in college football this year on a slant route. So not only does he go up, catch the jump balls, he takes the slant routes to the house. Everybody's comping him to either Metcalf or A.J. Brown, just a big receiver. He's a big receiver, but he moves. He can move well. He doesn't do the little curve. You don't have to go around the curve to make moves. He can stop on a dime. And so I feel like, and a lot of people might not even like this pick. We're at pick 40 and you haven't got an alignment yet? Sit back and relax, man. Sit back and relax, man. And I'm one to believe our line was not as bad as people made it wanted to make it out to be. Sam Howell was. And, analytics states that sacks are a quarterback stat. I'm not one to say we don't need help across the front line, because I'm going to address that shortly. But at the same time, if we add this young man to our receiver room to go along with our young quarterback who takes a lot of sacks himself, but has a little bit more mobility, he's able to reset that pocket. And I'm talking about Drake May. Give him a weapon like this to go along with the weapons that we already have. And I'm assuming we go out in the tight end market, because just spoiler alert, I don't touch tight end in this first 5 rounds. Maybe if I was to do the full 7, maybe. But if Noah Fant comes to Washington, put this guy in the room with him, with Dot, and also Scary Terry, man, we talking about an explosive lineup, man. And then we figure out that 5 across the front. It's not as bad as most people make it out to be. It's not as bad. But add this guy to that receiver room, it immediately becomes even more scary than it already is. It becomes even more explosive than it already is. And it's something that I would love to see. So if we get Xavier at 40, we even take him at 36, I'm cool with it. Because I know what he brings to the table, what he was able to show this year in South Carolina, just being as dominant as he was. I would love to have it here in Washington. With the 67th overall pick in this year's NFL draft, the Washington Commanders select Cooper BB from the University of Kansas State. Senior, 6'4", 335 offensive guard. Now this young man here, he's gigantic. He moves well for his size. He's a better run blocker than a pass blocker right now, but that'll be something that he can be able to grow into. Another guy I was looking at this spot was Christian Haynes. In this particular draft, he was already gone. But if we put Christian Haynes in this spot as well, they're two kind of interchangeable. I think he's more of what we will be looking for earlier, because he has that ability. He's a little bit more advanced with the pass blocking right now, but I would love to have Cooper Beebe with Brian Robinson running behind him. And I think I have this gut feeling we're going to use the running game a lot more than people suspect, just based off us um, bringing Kingsbury in and everybody thinking, they're running the spread offense. They're going to try to throw the ball all over the yard. I don't think we're going to do that. I just don't. I think we're going to line up and try to punch you in the mouth. There's going to be some groupings that are in the game where we're under center with the fullback and a halfback, and we're going to punch you in the mouth. I just believe that's what's going to happen. And we have Cooper Beebe at our left guard spot that we're dreading to find some consistency, some quality play at, because I feel like that center left guard spot was our most vulnerable. Because once they impacted that spot, Sam Howell was at a complete deficit because he was a shorter quarterback. So he was moving him off a spot real fast. So if we're able to get Cooper Beebe at 67, I think he's going to move up the charts. Him and Christian Haynes is going to move up the charts. So these guys might not even be here at round 3. But if they are, and we take one of those two, our left guard position may have just found the solution. And we have new problems now because left guard will no longer be that problem. So Cooper Beebe, I'm a big fan of Cooper Beebe, man. He played, I think he was a 4-year starter at Kansas State. He just played a lot of ball, man. He played a lot of ball. He was very good at it. 4-year starter at Kansas State, man. He just all quality grades for each year at that left guard position. So he's not even stepping out of his position. 1 year he played more of left tackle. Then 2022 they put him back at left guard, and 2023 he played left guard and a little bit of right tackle as well. So he's shown the ability to move around. I think they found a spot for him that he was a little bit better at. But shit, his passing grade is even good on PFF. So he may not be lacking at anything right now. He can come in, start for us day one. And if that's the case, man, we found our left guard for the future. And I would not be mad at all. So at the 67th pick for us in the 3rd round, Cooper Beebe, offensive guard, specifically left guard. And, that offensive line problems they're trimming down, man. If you can't talk about our offensive line, what are you going to talk about? Our quarterback play? But we may have found that in this draft too. But Cooper Beebe, left guard, Washington Commanders. With the 101 overall pick in this year's NFL draft, the Washington Commanders select Marius Luafau. I think I said that right? Marius Luafau. Anyway, linebacker, Notre Dame, 6'2", 239, senior from Notre Dame. This young man is, once again, explosive. He runs around, this young man made me think of what Joe Witt said at his presser. I'ma arrive violently. That's what he does. Hair all wild everywhere, running around looking like Troy Polamalu out there. He just arrives violently, hits whatever is in front of him. He does have a lot to learn as far as, being where he's supposed to be, and not being tricked by the offense's fakes and things of that nature. So being a little bit more disciplined. But if they can make it, as they said, I think Joe Witt said this as well, don't make it too difficult for him. Just let him go out and play. If you make it, so if you simplify it for this young man, he could potentially start to help us on day one. And he's more of a outside linebacker, and you really want to use his blitzing ability So have him in those Michael Parsons roles where you're moving them around. I'm not saying he's Michael Parsons, but just move him around, just like I want Chop Robinson to be doing, moving around that front seven. Don't show him this. Don't keep showing them the same thing. Don't set them up the same way. Move around. Show a different pace to these offensive linemen. Because once they are hip to the pace that you have them playing at, then they're a little bit more settled in. But if you have him in front of a lineman, a right tackle on one play, next play you got Chop Robinson in front of him. Then the play after that, you got Jonathan Allen in front of him. You're just gonna change the pace of the linemen and keep them off guard, catch them off guard. Just don't let them get them settled in, and I think that's part of being a good defensive coordinator or just scheming. Just moving guys around, showing you something different. This guy's very explosive. He runs around ready. And we do have a deficit at our linebacker spot. I think that's one of the spots I also hope we touch in free agency. But Marius Louisville, linebacker, Notre Dame, 101st pick for the Washington Commanders in the 2024 NFL Draft. With the 103rd pick in this year's NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select big old Bucky Irving, running back, Oregon, junior, 5'10", 195. Hey, this young man is a playmaker. You got him, Rodriguez, Brian Robinson. You talking about change of pace. I just finished talking about changing the pace on defense. Now we change the pace on offense as well. I think AG is gone. I don't think Gibson is coming back unless he's willing to play for some pennies here versus going somewhere else and getting a little bit more of a bag. But either way, if we're able to get Bucky at this pick or 101, I want us to take that chance on him. He's a receiving back. He's explosive even when he gets it in the backfield. Having that spread offense, if we actually do spread them out and try to run the ball, that'll be something that's great for Bucky to take advantage of, man. I can see him in the maroon and gold, and it would be definitely a change of pace for us, man. Definitely a change of pace. He'll be our little Darren Sproles for years to come. And he can hold his own. So, I mean, if he has to, he's a 3-down back. I don't know if he'll have to be that. It's not set up for him to be that right now. And the NFL really isn't set up for someone to be a 3-down back. But if we get Bucky Irving to change the pace of what we want to do on offense, oh my God. And I do so many mock drafts and I find myself keep drafting Bucky Irving. I'm trying to, speak this into existence. I'm trying to mock this into existence. I wouldn't be surprised if someone took Bucky Irving in the second round. No, we need that dynamic playmaker. Some GM is going to tell themselves, no, we need that dynamic playmaker now. Especially after Jahmyr Gibbs goes and performs. And I'm not saying he's a Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not saying that at all. But Jahmyr Gibbs goes out and performs like he did this year for the Lions. People are just going to take more chances. It's a monkey see, monkey do league. They're just going to take more chances. And we have a young man that keeps averaging 6 yards a pop. Keeps averaging 6 a pop. And he's just, his quality, he's elusive. He makes plays. He doesn't drop passes. He catches everything that comes his way. He's just a very quality. Even if he turns out to be a 3rd down back, I'm talking about explosive. How many times have I said that word? And it's explosive, man. We are going to have explosive players and put them in positions to explode. Explosive players, and we put them into position to explode. Hey, man, Bucky Irvin, the 103rd pick for the Washington Commanders in this year's NFL draft. With the 138th pick of this year's NFL draft, the Washington Commanders select Blake Fisher from the University of Notre Dame, junior, 6'6", 312. Now, this young man is the young man that's playing opposite of Joe Alt. Joe Alt, guaranteed top 10 NFL draft pick this year at left tackle. Just going to see what this young man was able to do at the right tackle position. And he's a right tackle, like born and raised a right tackle. And I feel like he can come in day one and play right tackle better than Andrew Wiley. And if so, getting this still in the 5th round, and he can come in and play day one, what more can you ask for? I know a lot of people would rather hit that old line position a little early in the draft. And honestly, if somebody falls, me too. But if you're in that range where you're not getting one of those sought after left tackles or right tackles that just happens to drop because there's a run on receivers, there's a run on cornerbacks, there's a run on any other position, and slowly lineman gets closer to us that we would prefer. A Troy Fontenot, I would love to have a Troy Fontenot. If he drops, Tyler Guyton, I would love to have Tyler Guyton. If he drops, Marius Mims, I would love to have a Marius Mims. If he drops, Jordan Morgan, I would love to have him if he drops. But if they don't drop, I don't want to take a chance on that next tier when we can get a top tier edge rusher like a Chop Robinson or a top tier receiver. In my opinion, everybody don't think like this, but in my opinion, I feel like Leggett is the top tier receiver in this year's class. Now, maybe not first round worthy or top 20 worthy, but right after that, you have to consider Leggett. But Blake Fisher, I feel like he can come in and play for us day one. He can come in and play for us on day one. And if he does, it's a steal for us. This young man might turn out to be the steal of the draft. Because there's a team that knows more about Blake Fisher, and that's just because they put a little bit more into Joe Alt. Not saying they're going to double up and go get Joe Alt and Blake Fisher, but at the same time, some team knows the ins and outs of Blake Fisher just because they put so much time and energy into scouting Joe Alt. And if that could be us, we could be in a position to take Joe Alt if the team feels differently about our quarterback situation and these prospects. But at the same time, Blake Fisher played on the other side, so there was more pressure on him than Joe Alt. Joe Alt's a brick wall. No need to let's apply the pressure to the other side, because this Joe Alt's just we're not going to do much on that side. So we get Blake Fisher here at the 138, 5th round. And I feel like it will work out for us. I didn't attack the offensive line like most people would want, but there's free agency, people. I didn't attack tight end like most people want. I know a lot of our fans would love to have the Sanders kid from Texas, but there's free agency, people. If we get Noah Fant, we're okay at tight end, especially what we already have in the building. If they feel like that's enough, at least for right now. But with Bates, and if we have a Bates and Noah Fant combination, I will really be happy about that. I think that'll make plays. We'll be able to work with that. I didn't attack corner. I feel like we'll go out in free agency and spend some money on corner. If the draft was longer, I may have doubled up on defensive edge, but because I think we'll go out and get an edge, but we'll still need one early in the draft. So 36 or 40, we have to go edge, one or the other. if we go get one edge in free agency. But at the same time, we can hit a lot of spots in free agency and we can hit a lot of spots in the draft. That's why I feel like Dan Quinn isn't saying this is a rebuild. It's a recalibration. Because if we hit those spots with the right talent, just enough talent, we don't have to hit it out the ballpark. It's our first year of this bright future that we all see, we all know that's ahead of us. It's the first year, but if we can't hit it out the ballpark, then I'm here for it. But at the same time, I'm not getting too ahead of myself, but just hitting some key spots this year, and it starts at quarterback. And honestly, I'm gonna say quarterback and edge. If we can get an edge in free agency that's explosive, and go out and get a Darius Robinson or a Chop Robinson, or our edge is rebuilt just like that. Yeah, we lost Montez, who got paid in Chicago, and who's going to go on to be a great player. But giving up Chase and getting a third rounder out of the deal, which is this year's an explosive linebacker, according to this mock draft, I'm here for it, man. And immediately that edge room looks explosive. I'm here for it. So I am Dez A1. Please say the A1 from the Big Dub Network. And if you stayed this long, man, like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff, man. Hit the bell so you'll be notified and all that good stuff. If you stayed this long, I appreciate it. If you stayed this long, let me know you stayed this long, because this video is a lot longer than I expected it to be. But till next time, peace.